This is Mrs. B, an 86 years old lady, widow and retired. She has 3 children and 5 grandchildren. She lived alone and loved spending the day singing and taking care of her animals. She used to go to church almost every day. However, 4 years ago, she was diagnosed with coronary artery disease and atrial fibrillation. 2 years later, she was diagnosed with dementia and depression. Since then, the family decided to transfer her to long-term care so she could have 24-hour care. Mrs. B really liked an LTC. She participated in group activities and had many friends. In recent months, the patient has experienced significant memory worsening. She no longer recognizes her grandchildren, thinks that one of her children is her husband, and spends most of the day lying in bed. Due to the situation, it was decided that the eldest son would have the power of attorney, and together with his brother he chose to change his mother's status to DNR. 3 months ago, the patient was referred to the hospital with shortness of breath and peripheral edema. After imaging test, a nodule was detected in the lung. A biopsy was performed, and adenocarcinoma was found. After a conversation between the family and the multidisciplinary team, they decided to start palliative care. Mrs. B's palliative performance scale was 40% and the patient was transferred to the hospice care. At the hospice she received all the care, comfort and love she needed, always aiming for her quality of life. After 2 months, Mrs. B presented a considerable deterioration in her condition and the family chose to take her home, as she wanted to die close to her family and pets. She died with her children and grandchildren by her side, and the farewell was the way she would have liked, with lots of prayer and gratitude.
You can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Ooh, Mama Maria, presenting Mrs. B's Palliative Care. Good day, Professor Maria, and our dear fellow classmates. We are the Group 3. And here are the agenda that we are going to discuss. To begin with, let's start with Anna. Anna will discuss Mrs. B who has a life-limiting illness. She will outline the history of Mrs. B's presenting problem, social history, and expand in this section as to who has the power of attorney and or substitute decision maker, including the mental status, children, and support system of Mrs. B. She will also outline the emotional status like depression, adjustment, anxiety, and grieving of Mrs. B. From Brazil, Anna. Next is Kumaljut. Kumal will outline Mrs. B's journey to the healthcare system, hospital, community, visits to the family physician's office, hospice care or end-of-life care, home or receiving end-of-life care. From India, Kumaljut. Also, Elizabeth. Elizabeth will explore the community support of Mrs. B such as home and community care, palliative care team, hospice team. From the Philippines, Elizabeth. Arvin will outline the religion or cultural sensitive care of Mrs. B. Lubel. Lubel will outline the advanced care planning of Mrs. B's wishes. From the Philippines, Lubel. And last but not least, Nelisha. She will discuss to support the after death of Mrs. B and the reflection from the highest peak mountain of the world, Nepal, Malaysia. Now let's begin the discussion. You can jive, having the time of your life. Uma Maria, watch that scene, digging the dancing queens.
Well, I know other people's going through similar stuff that I'm going through, and you can talk about it, what you're going through, and see other people respect it on how they go through what they go through. So I think it's been a big help by me going there. I'm like a laid back person, shy, and at first I wasn't going to go, but then something said, you need to go to see what it's about. I'm glad I did. And even though the first time I went to the session, I didn't say too much at all, and that's fine. You can expect the people going to be on the same level you are. Might not be the same exact thing, everybody grieve differently, but you're in a place where everybody speaks the same language, and I think that really, really can help you.